Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today on the benefits of immigration reform for renewing America's communities. I'm currently serving as the mayor of the All-America City of Lewiston, a designation awarded in 2007 by the National Civic League for our civic engagement. As my biography will attest, my lifelong career has been in law enforcement until my election as mayor in 2007. I am a first-generation American and son of French-Canadian immigrants. My first language was French. At the age of 10, our family moved to Southern California. While in school, I had a great many Mexican-American friends. As a son of immigrants, I could relate to my Mexican-American classmates. I would at times trade my sandwich with a Mexican-American student for his burrito, something I continue to love to this day. Somali refugees started arriving in Lewiston in 2001 to seek a quality of life they could not find or afford in larger cities. Word of mouth to friends and relatives outside of Maine led more secondary migrants to Lewiston, a city and state that are statistically one of the safest in the country, and where these families and their children can receive a good education. As the refugee population started to grow in Lewiston, a number of opinions about new refugee arrivals were expressed both privately and publicly as fear, and in many cases prejudice, fueled the public and sometimes political discussion about Lewiston's new Mainers. An open letter to the Somalis requesting that they reduce their numbers coming into the city was picked up by the national and international media, whose coverage also caught the attention of a national hate group. Though this hate group attracted few supporters to their event, the group's arrival in Lewiston was met by some 5,000 demonstrators who supported our new refugee immigrants. Though there was measurably more public, state, nonprofit, academic support for refugees following the Lewiston rally, rumors and misguided myths about refugee funding, cultural, religious customs, and employment persisted. Concerns about refugee employment were driven by observations that more refugees were not seen in the local workforce. In the recently published book, Somalis in Maine, Crossing Cultural Currents, Deputy City Administrator Phil Netto's research showed that refugee employment levels had been steadily declining since 2006. Netto postulated that the combination of higher levels of overall unemployment and the significant underfunding of workforce training for many limited English-speaking adults will continue to fuel refugee unemployment until current federal refugee policy addresses workforce readiness. Our city's opinion of the inadequacy of the existing refugee resettlement program in the U.S. was recently echoed in a July 21, 2010 report to the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations entitled Abandoned Upon Arrival, Implications for Refugee and Local Communities Burdened by the U.S. Resettlement System That Is Not Working. In my opinion, though we have grave concerns regarding refugee resettlement program, there are signs that our immigrant population is having a positive impact on the social fabric of our community and our local economy. They purchase groceries, clothing, cars, along with a number of other goods and services. They keep the dollars circulating locally and are beginning to weave themselves to a greater degree into the community. Most exciting is the energy of our immigrant entrepreneurs who are beginning a new life, bringing new life to our downtown. Over a dozen immigrant-owned businesses occupy formerly vacant storefronts over a 2-block area. The businesses include general merchandise markets, specialty foods and goods, restaurants, coffee shops, tax preparation services, translation services, and clothing stores, as well as starting up cab companies. The road to full assimilation into the American culture and economic self-sufficiency isn't easy, but with perseverance and support, it will continue to happen. The question is whether we choose to let this be a process requiring several generations to occur, or do all that we can to move the process forward more quickly. As mayor of my city, my work with the League of United Latin American Citizens in support of the DREAM Act and the Partnership for a New American Economy has convinced me that sensible immigration refugee resettlement reform today will spur the economic growth and independence that every American can support. In conclusion, I appreciate the interest of the chairman and Mr. Blumenthal and members of the committee who will receive this report to share Lewiston's newest chapter in our ongoing immigrant story. I believe that the committee's and the Congress's continued involvement with immigration reform and the need for significant refugee resettlement reform is critical to the future success of a refugee resettlement program whose primary mission is economic self-sufficiency. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today, and I certainly remember Rod Gilbert, number 7 for the New York Rangers.
Thank you. And you're as good in what you do as he was in what he did, so thank you for being here. I'm going to call